Welcome to I Love My HBCU ? The podcast where we express our undeniable love for HBCUs, but where we are also not afraid to address a few tough questions. So, sit back, learn a little, love a lot, and rep your HBCU. All right, welcome everyone to this episode of I Love My HBCU ? I am excited. I'm always excited with every single guest that I have, but I'm really excited. We've already talked about her lips. She's given us a tour of her home.
Yes, it
We've
was a
talked
whole
about the
thing.
listen, we've become family even before we hit record. Courtney Nichole, you
That's
are
right.
amazingness described, like literally. Thank you so much for
Oh,
agreeing, saying yes to be on our podcast. Alabama A&M University is like screaming, look at one of ours out there.
yes. Well, thank
Um,
you so much for having me. Like you said, family. Like I said, and listening to your podcast, I know that's a resounding, word that we hear when talking about our universities and the love we have. So when, of course, asked to come on here with you, Dr. Toastin, about our HBCUs, I mean, it was a yes.
I appreciate you. I absolutely appreciate
Yeah.
you. I want to, anyone who listens to or reads your story, watches you on assisted living and so many more amazing things that you've done, you have a story. And to find out that you and I were in the same industry, there's a line that I've read where you were pouring and poured so much into your students because you were in education, and you encouraged them to follow their dreams, and then you decided, wait, hold on, can you
Mhm.
talk to us about how that came to be, where it can't just be you telling, it has to be you doing as well.
Yes, you have to be doing. That's amazing that you said that. You're right. I love pouring into, right, like our community, like we were just talking about. So being a teacher was like an amazing journey for me to be able to, help cultivate young minds, and that was a beautiful journey. But you're right. I always wanted my babies to know that they could do anything they wanted to do, and I really wanted them to believe that. And I think the more that I poured into it, it was like a self check. It was just something that came naturally. It hit me, and it was like, hold on, Courtney, wait a minute. Now, are you living your dreams? Are you doing everything that you would want to do? No hold bar, you know what I'm saying? Like no hold bars, like, and I'm like, wow,
Hmm.
okay. Well, there was something. If I were 82, and it was like, oh, Courtney, what did you wish you had done in your life? And it was to go after my acting career,
Wow.
and I could no longer tell it no. Right? It was just that thing on my shoulder, pulling at my shirt that I just couldn't continue to ignore.
Yeah, so
So,
no, please go ahead. I
yeah.
apologize. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, so I'm glad because so a lot of times we don't follow that thing. So I am grateful that I was able to hear myself, right? Tap into that and follow through to some degree. I'm still following through with it. Um, and then I think just what adds just like the cherry on the top for me, like even now, like with the shows that I've been on, it's like, how they say there's 6 degrees of separation. And I like to say that for any former student that I've had that I may have loved on, fussed at, out of love, bought lunch for, brought some extra pencils up here for, hugged, any of those things. It's not 6 degrees of separation for them. It's one.
It's
And I
one.
hope that with that they can say, if she can do it, I can do it. So
Wow. Okay, so A, that's powerful. B, you went in the direction of what I wanted to ask and hope.
Mm,
I think this is going to be you just loving on us and loving on every single person who hears the sound of your voice, because that's what it's feeling like. And I appreciate you for that. I know this doesn't just apply to me and where I am in my stage of life. It actually also applies to my students. I teach a class called Discovering Your Student Identity, and
mm,
yes, we talked not too long ago about making the decision of what it is you're going to do. And there was a young lady who was in tears in the class because she knows what her family has asked her to do, but it's very different from what she wants to do, which is acting.
mm,
Which brings me to you. You said that you could no longer tell yourself no. And you say it so simply, right? You say it so
mm,
sweetly. But was there, and if there wasn't, that is even more beautiful to hear that there wasn't. But for those who are in that space where they are loving what they're doing, the way you describe the way you loved
mhm,
on your babies is amazing. But you needed to listen to that tug on your shoulder. What would you say to them, those who are still thinking about whether or not they should make that leap? And then those who what would
mm.
you say to them? Yeah.
Oh, it's so many things, I mean, because we have life. Like life is in front of us. We have things that we have to do. And but there's a phrase that says a little step in the right direction. Every little step in the right direction leads to big results. So always, even if it has to be a little thing at a time, always be going after it in some way, form, or fashion, right? Like even when I was teaching, I was still helping with the Martin Luther King production. I was still helping in some way. The arts were still in me. I would still find a way to go to a dance class. I would still find a way to go to skating, to pour into some part of that creativity that I was yearning for. So pay attention to that, I'd say. And then two, I would say, I always say that the ROI, right? Your return on investment. When you invest in yourself, the return has to be high. Like
Hmm.
it just has
Hmm.
to be. And sometimes we have to get in belief of that. And that belief, I
Hmm.
think, is the determining factor for a lot of us, right? Like, because sometimes we don't believe that we can have it. We don't believe we deserve it. We don't believe it'll
Wow.
happen. And we have to see ourselves there. Like, before booking my first series regular, I saw myself on set. I was like, I see the lights. I hear the sound. I saw myself speaking to people, saying good morning, because in my eyes, I'm the lead on set, and I'm setting the tone. Good morning, how y'all doing today? Like I saw myself doing this. So, I would say those things, and keep a good support system around you. Like that. That's amazing because while we don't want a yes man at every turn, we do want people who support our vision and our dream. Like visions, dreams, plural, because you can have more than one.
Absolutely.
So, so many things, but you got to take that leap,
Yes.
and you have to believe in yourself. And
Yes.
don't do it if you don't believe it, because you got to
Yeah.
believe it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's there's work. There's work that you've got to put in. So if you don't
Correct,
believe it, you might give up before the return actually begins to show
correct.
itself. Yeah.
Because
I
there's
could
steps to
listen to
this, like a
this
two
all
through
day.
nine, like
Yes.
like you have to do the things. Those are those little steps.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Do you do everything this joyfully?
Most things,
Yeah.
in a
And
way,
this isn't
life
the
is
first
short.
time. This isn't the first time anyone is saying to you that you do most things joyfully, because there's just this beam, this smile on your face that I'm just going to do life joyfully is what you give.
I decided to do that a long time ago. Yeah. too short. It's too short. I have I do have a beautiful family. That that leads with love. And then like going to an HBCU where there was just more love. Like I tell this story about how like when I first got to Alabama A&M, like I'm from Chicago, so like everybody isn't always as warm out in the streets. It's like people staring at you. You're like, well, what is she looking at? Like that's my little Chicago edge, right? And then, like, I'm like, she's staring at me a long time. Like, but when I went to college, I remember my first roommate. And I went to in the community bathrooms. Right, I'm in there brushing my teeth, and this girl comes in. Her name is Mimi. I remember, and so Mimi, she said, "Hey," and I was like, "Hey," like my
Hey.
Chicago was like. And she is speaking to me and don't even know me, but okay. And I remember going back to the room and I asked my roommate, I was like, did we meet a girl? So and so height, kind of looked like this. I described her and she was like, I don't think so. I was like, she was in there speaking to me in the bathroom. Like, and she was like, she was probably just speaking. And I was like, but that was two of my best friends are from a small towns in Alabama. And something about the southern charm, that southern hospitality that you get when you go to an HBCU.
Absolutely.
Especially if you
Absolutely.
come from a place that didn't come from
Have
that,
it.
right? You're
Yeah.
like, oh, they are just loving on each other. And it's something about seeing people that look like you love on each other. It's just infectious. And I'm like, so now, like moving back to when I moved to California and then people weren't speaking, I was like, what is wrong with these people? Like, why aren't they speaking? Don't they know that it's like life? Don't they know it will bring them joy? Right? This is me. But so I think it's just something that I had and I kept, and then it was amplified. And then after my years of teaching, I never know. I taught for 13 years, elementary and middle
Hmm.
school. You
Hmm.
don't know what those kids are going through. I'm sure you
Absolutely.
can imagine. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, think
Yeah.
I was reading this the other day. Like an elementary, so like a second grader, if they had a parent who died
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
and the family wants to send them to school because they don't know how to talk to the baby, they don't know, but the child still knows their parent
That
died,
this
right?
happened. Absolutely.
And you come to school with why aren't you, what's going on? Like, why aren't you
Yeah.
prepared? Well, I'm fussing or whatever. And I had no idea that this baby's parent passed
Yeah.
away. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it's kind of something I think I tried to get in the habit of loving them first, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
and then once they know, I feel like when a student knows that, or a person, like once they know you're coming from love, it can be a better relationship. They can even take you
Absolutely.
fussing at them a little bit better. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
yes. And they'll still
Because
come
then,
back to you over and over and over again, even though you're the one that fussed at them, because
yeah.
they know it's love. It's love that you're pouring on them, but the love needs to look this way for now.
So I think that then is now something that I can just take into the rest of my life.
Yeah, yeah.
So and I've decided to do that.
I appreciate you for that, and I appreciate you for giving the context behind it, and not that you just woke up when you were born and then every single day of your life this is just who I am, but you gave us the Chicago that went to Alabama and then landed in LA, and this is that I appreciate the journey. I really
Honest.
really do.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
um before I bless you with our rapid fire segment of 67
67
seconds,
seconds.
yes, I'm going to ask you an unfair question because I think you're going to tell me all of them have been amazing. You've done a lot. Plays, series, movies, Amazon Prime. We could do the list if we wanted to. I'm not going to ask you to give me the favorite project, but I do
Mm.
want you to tell me your favorite role. Which role did you do and you were like, ooh?
Mm.
And if it's two or three or all of them, I'll take that
Okay,
too.
good. Okay, okay, good. As long as I can give you more than one, it's
Okay,
cool. Okay,
okay.
okay. I do enjoy playing a mom on TV.
Yes.
Like, and the fact that I have a couple of teenagers to go along with the fact that I taught and I do have a teenage son, like, there's just joy in that, and I think that was one of my dreams. Like I was like, oh, if I could just play the mama on TV, or because I was starting later in life, I used to tell myself, well, if by the time I make it, I just play the grandmama and everything, I'll be fine with that too. But if you see, I want to play it in everything, right? But to be able, but for God to say, you know what, I'm gonna let you be a mama before I make you play a grandmama on TV.
Yeah,
I'm thankful for that. So I get a lot of joy in
that's
that.
beautiful.
It's a comedy, it's fun, you know what I'm saying? So, I get to go to work and do that because when you work on your dramas and you got to dig deep, that's another joy. I do love that still as an artist. It's still fun for
Hmm.
me to get in the muck, you know what I'm saying, in the
Yeah,
mud
yeah,
of it. So that's still fun for me as an artist because that's
yes,
creativity and imagination, but it's
yes.
different. So I do love that. Now, speaking of those roles where I had to dig and get in the mud, I have two. I've been thankful to. I've been blessed to be able to do a couple of plays, and the characters had to dig deep. So I got the opportunity to play Rose from Fences, an August Wilson production,
Yes.
and my
Hmm.
God, I fell in love with her. Mm.
She dealt with a lot.
Oh, I love, yes. Don't we all?
Yeah, we do. We do. We do. She dealt with
We
a lot, though.
She did. She did.
Yeah.
And so many of us modern day could say, oh, well, I had a date rape situation and now
Yes.
this, or
Yes.
I'm a foster child and now what does my life look like? Or for me, I'm in a second marriage. I was divorced at 27 and I was like,
Hmm.
gosh, I went
Hmm.
with I got to find my husband in college, did that. We were divorced. Now I'm a statistic. So we all have the things, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But Rose got to tell her story. And I
She
think that's
did.
what I love about like women, right? I love telling our stories.
Yeah.
Like she was a mom, she wanted another child. Why didn't she get to have that? Then this man came home with another child and you raised it. Like she got into it. So I really had to love her, right? Because
Hmm.
to show that side, right? To be given honest, performance of her. So
Yes.
that was beautiful. And I got to play in a Pulitzer Prize. Well, the author won a Pulitzer Prize. Charles Gordon is his name. And it's a black comedy. It's called No Place to Be Somebody. And that was I heard in one of your episodes you were talking about how you picked up the Viola Davis book and almost didn't put it down. So I was tired the day.
Listen.
I know. But I did this play like that. That's why I said that because I couldn't find it anywhere. I went to the library to get it, and I got it. And I was so tired this day. I was like, I'm gonna take a nap. And you know how sometimes when you want a good nap, you read your good book. You know you're gonna go
Hmm.
back over that chapter, but a good book can lay you down sometimes. You'll be asleep before you
Listen.
know it. Like, oh, let me go back and read the last 3 pages because I don't know where I went. But I did not take that nap that day, and I read that play all the way through. And that was another young lady, Cora Bell Beasley was her name,
Mm.
from Mississippi, had gotten up north during that time, was able to become a nurse and wanted love, and ran into someone, and he broke her
Hmm.
heart.
Hmm.
And so those are also roles that I love that I get to play to tell those beautiful full women. I got to spin around on stage and I got to fight and I got to cuss and I got to just be a full person. So those I would say are like my top three favorite parts that I played
Thank
thus
you.
far. So yes.
Thank you. And I like the fact that you said thus far because there's way more to come from you. There
Oh
is
yeah.
way more to come from you.
Oh
As you were talking, I was literally thinking of three students that when this
yeah.
episode comes out, I am going to tell them, I need you to watch just this part.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to listen to how Courtney Nichole expresses all of herself that she
Mm.
had to bring to all of these roles. And I really do think it will impart upon them as they currently journey, because one of them is theater arts and so on and so
Okay.
forth. And I think they're so focused on technique
Ah, yeah.
that they are, well, at least one of them is losing the joy and the passion of bring you to the
Yes.
technique and not just the technique. So I'm just going to keep thanking you because you're just dropping life lessons that people are going to impart, and it's the life
Awesome.
lessons based on you just talking about yourself, and I appreciate you for
Thank
that. I
you.
really
That's for
really do.
sharing
I
that.
do.
Thank you. And yes, technique is good, but yes, yes, you gotta have that. You know what your uniqueness, because that's what that's what sells.
Yes. I like the way she did this.
Well, I'm just saying, like, if you want to look at it like that, because I like to talk to the younger people in their language too. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like,
Absolutely.
yes, you got to bring your bag. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like a podcast. You could have said there are so many podcasts out here. They are inundated with podcasts. I'm not gonna start a podcast. Look at you. Look at you. We are in. I don't know what
Thank you.
episode this is, but you
Yes,
have a
we are.
podcast, right?
I
And
appreciate you.
so but what you bring is new to your lane, and they have to bring what's
What's
unique to their
to
lane. Yeah,
them?
for sure,
Absolutely.
absolutely. But anyway,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Courtney, I'm about to enjoy this rapid fire segment with you because I can't wait to hear the answers that you're going to give. Are you ready for 67 seconds of questions?
I'm nervous, but I'm
She's
ready.
nervous. Oh, am I going to be kind? Let's be kind. Let's be kind. Let's be kind.
We had a great connection. Told you to be
Yes,
kind.
yes. It's going to be good. They're all kind questions. I promise you they are. So,
Okay,
the
okay.
first one, I really like this one for you. If your time in college was a movie or a
Mm.
series, what would it be?
Showtime.
Showtime. Okay. She's like, Showtime. Okay.
It's time to
Okay.
go. Yes.
It's time to go. It's showtime.
Yeah.
Describe your HBCU experience in one word.
Enlightening.
Enlightening. Enlightening. I love it. I love it. Shout out your favorite professor or person at your
Ah,
HBCU.
okay. Favorite professor was Dr. Jordan. He taught algebra. I love him. And then I would have to say the fact that I left with two of my best friends in the world, Toya and Jessica. Yeah, they were
That's
my roommate
beautiful.
freshman year. One was my roommate sophomore year, and here, however many years later, we are still, those are the girls.
I
Yeah,
love it. I love it. I
yeah.
love it. On a scale of 1 through 10, how good of a student were you?
Ooh, freshman year, I would give myself a 7. That was I was there to get everything, okay? The first semester. And then
The
my mama
first
was
semester.
like, now if you want to keep going back, you better get it together. And I was getting D's every year after that, okay? So
Oh, I
then I
love it.
became a 9, okay?
A
Like,
nine, a nine, a nine. All right, this is the last question. They just told me the time's up, but I'm still throwing
okay.
out this
Oh,
question. If you remember, what was your best meal in college?
oh, baby, we had ice cream on the block. I don't even know that it was a meal. We would just go get the ice cream and come to the block, and sit on the yard. So
I
yeah,
love it. Ice
yeah,
cream on the block. I love it.
yeah.
Courtney, you're from Chicago.
Hmm.
How did you end up at Alabama A&M University? Tell us the story.
That's what my mama said. Girl, you want to go down there? I said yes. No, actually, because just like she's like, I've not been to Alabama, so to her it was like far away, and my baby is going to the South. Which I
Absolutely.
think I mean, we're talking about HBCU, so I don't have to be careful about this. You're talking about your black child now going to live in the South, and my
Mm-hmm.
grandmother was born in Chicago, so we're a little, like so my mom, when I took my mom to an African American history museum, she was looking at the girls from the church bombing and thinking about they were around the same age and how she didn't have to go through in Chicago what they had gone through. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that distance from that experience made it even more of a heightening thing for her. So, but what happened is that I have a cousin, an older cousin, who was a superintendent of schools in one of the suburbs in Chicago. And when I knew I wanted to go to, my mom wanted me to go to an HBCU. I was undecided. So when I went in the
Mm-hmm.
counselor's office and I started looking, Alabama A&M is first because it's Alabama A&M.
It starts with A.
It starts with A, right? So that was definitely on my list. Tennessee State was on my list. I applied to Prairie View and Southern. So those were like my top four schools.
Okay.
And then, like many, Alabama A&M got my financial aid right first.
Listen,
But
listen.
yes, and which is important. That's like you said, it is important for your family. A lot of us don't come from that structure. Like my mom went to college after I went to college.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
Like after I got in college, she was like, okay, now my house is empty. And she went back and got her bachelor's degree. Right. But so
Nice.
I was that first one. My father didn't go either. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and so this cousin had told my mom, with her giving her the list of the schools that I wanted to go to, she said that Alabama A&M was one of the pearls of the South, and so she gave it, I mean, with that nod, I think my mom was okay, and so that's how I got to Alabama A&M.
I love it. I love it. I love that. I also love the fact that because almost everybody we've spoken to said they knew they had to go to an HBCU. I love
Mm.
the fact that you were honest and saying you were undecided. That wasn't
Yeah.
particularly like, okay, I'm definitely going to an HBCU because there are a plethora of universities, right?
Hmm.
And there's several different reasons that we pick for going to which one we're going
Hmm.
to. So, but you got to Alabama A&M.
And I will say that one of the pluses for me was like class size. Like it wasn't a university where it was going to be 10,000 people in a lecture class for me.
Yes.
I did want a more individualized instruction, and class sizes at the time for my major were, something that I was like, I look forward to that. I won't get
Yeah.
lost in the sauce,
In
you
the
know.
sauce, yes. Yes.
Yeah, I want somebody to know my name.
You gave yourself a 7 in first semester.
I did.
First semester freshman. Which leads me to ask, what was the most challenging experience you had at your HBCU and how did you overcome it?
I don't know who told them to sign me up for 18 hours. That
Got it.
my first semester away from home. Who told them that I would be able to? No, it was a no for me.
It
I
was a
never
no.
took 18 hours again. It was like,
Yeah.
I think until I was trying to graduate. By that time,
Mm.
I had the motivation to do it. But 18 hours is a lot if you are not. You got to be super focused, and I mean, some kids come in like that. Like I got a little cousin who knows she wants to be a doctor, and she came in and she's like, I'm getting in and out, and took as many classes as she could, and was always about it. I don't know that I had that because I think my
Mhm.
first year I was still trying to decide exactly what I knew. I went into the education department, but freshman year you aren't taking your core classes, so I still was
No.
like, I decided on a major, but I was still like, I don't know. So I think that taking that many hours was a challenge for me, and your first semester I didn't get to pick; they picked it
Mm.
for me,
Mm.
and I didn't really know the setup of college. I didn't know that once I started struggling in my economics class that I probably should have withdrawn before it was a certain grade for me. You know what I'm saying? So like I could have withdrawn, still kept 15 hours, still kept my money, and still been within the range. But instead I'm like, no, I can do it.
I can
But
do
I
this.
wasn't getting it. Didn't have anybody like somebody that I can go to kind of bring that grade up. And then it's like now
Mhm.
I have this on my transcript.
Yes.
So I just wish I had maybe like a little bit of a mentor, a little more guidance or knowledge in that area. So that would have been the toughest challenge for me.
I hear you. As you were talking, it reminded me, I promise you, this happened really recently where a student, I'm horrible at math. I say this
Mm,
publicly. Me and numbers, we just don't go well together. I see numbers and I don't know what I see. I see Greek
yeah.
when I see numbers. I mean it.
Right.
And because I know that, and students will come to me and say, Dr. Tosin, this is my third time taking calculus. Do you know what I tell
Mm,
them?
mm,
Take it over the summer. Take it over the summer, take it over the winter. And I gave them a little secret. I said, listen, It is impossible for a professor to expect of you the exact same
Mm-hmm.
as they would during the regular semester. And because of that, they're actually a lot more lenient on the grading as well.
I was gonna say you get a little grace. A little
Yes,
grace. Yes.
yes. So you
Yeah.
could not be more right. Those little drop the class. If you
Yeah.
can't if you can't handle it, why don't put that much pressure on yourself? Because
Nobody's
you
gonna
can
ask you
go
about this W if you take the class again and get an A or a B.
listen, listen,
But if you
listen.
stand there and get a D, they're gonna be like, "Why is this D on here?
What
And why is it bringing your
what
GPA down?"
there we go. So I hope students listen to this and they're like, wait,
Yeah.
hold on.
We
Because you're
gave them
right.
two nuggets. I
We
told them
gave
to take
them
the dry, and you told them to take the harder class in the summer if they
in the
struggling with the
summer.
W.
There we go.
Come on, babies. Come
Yes.
on.
Because I what I'm realizing is, and advisors, I'm still at a I teach at a university. Advisors do their best and they
Yes.
do the best that they can with as many students as they have to reach,
The
but they're not
numbers
going
that
to
they
reach
have.
everyone. So I hope somebody hears this and is like, oh, time to drop economics or
Yeah, I
time
know,
to
right?
drop
And
this
take it again, exactly.
and
Or
take it
calculus, exactly, and take it
and take it.
later.
There we go. What
Take
does
it later
HBC
when you're more stable too. You know,
when
like
you're more stable?
maybe it was eyes wide open for me as a freshman. Taking it in my junior year when I'm more focused and ready to get out of here might have been
Yes.
a better plan for me. You know, so. But
Yes.
yes, go ahead. But
When
sorry.
I my entire conversation with you before we hit record and during this
Mm.
conversation, if somebody were to ask me what is HBCU legacy, I'll say it's Courtney Nichole. But I want you I want you to tell me when you think of HBCU legacy, what do you think of? What does that mean to you? What does HBCU legacy mean to you?
Oh, it means excellence. It
Mm,
means support. It means foundation, drive. Oh, I could just keep naming all the things that makes me think of that legacy. Because it gave me a drive to want to pour into my community and make myself
mm,
better, right?
mm.
um the support that I got from there, like I was listening to the episode, I think before this one, the young lady with the red hair, and she was just saying how with her business, people are like, oh, well, how can I help you, things like that. It's like we're trying to figure out how to help each other,
Yeah.
which we can then take out into the world and do on a larger scale, right? So yeah.
There's another one you haven't mentioned.
Give it to me.
I'm going to give it to you because I even though I'm just meeting you, I think I owe you so many flowers. You've given such praise of our podcast, and I appreciate you for that. You said, I don't know if it was recorded or not. I think we should have just hit record the minute we got on the call with you. Like seriously, because you've given so much that the rest of the audience isn't going to get to hear. You talked about the students that you had taught, and you said that typically when people talk about 6 degrees of separation, with those
Mm,
students, is just 1 degree of separation. And the manner in which you have carried your love of your HBCU, it seems as if you are literally just 1 degree of separation from everything associated with your HBCU. If that isn't
mm-hmm.
HBCU legacy embodied in one person, I don't know what it is. I really,
But
really don't.
yeah, 1 degree. I like that. 1 degree of separation. Yeah.
Yeah, Alabama A&M guys, this is your 1 degree of separation with Courtney Nichole, and
Yeah.
she put it out there even before I said it. I just needed to remind her that she
Thank you.
said that, and I think that is a beautiful thing that
Yeah.
shows because I think legacy is active. I think when
Mm-hmm.
most people think of legacy, they think about what they're going to leave behind, and of course that is a
Mm.
definition of legacy. But you are living it in real
Yeah,
time, and I absolutely love that about you, and I
absolutely.
appreciate that about you.
Thank
Um, I want you to finish this sentence for me.
you. Ooh. I didn't see this. I didn't hear this as part of the game. No, I'm just playing. Okay,
And
let
it's
me
not a
hear
trick question. I
it.
promise you it's
Okay.
not a trick
Okay.
question. Because of my experience at my HBCU, I will not.
Ever let my people down?
What? We, okay.
Come on. 'Cause it's about building us up. What I was talking about the Black Wall Street. We were talking about Beyonce and with the revenue that she has
We
done.
were.
I know that we spent money with black businesses. I will not let
Yeah.
my people down, right? For you, I'm gonna show up. Like when we doing an HBCU podcast, let's go. Like that's
I'm kicking myself. That's why I did all the like because I'm like, what else would I expect her to say? She would of course she's going to give us something that has us embracing each other in the kindest of ways. So because of my HBCU, I will never let my people down.
mm.
Courtney, I love you.
Oh, I love you too.
Absolutely love you. I feel like I wish this was in person. It's moments like this that I do wish, and I hope one day we get there because I would give you like the biggest hug,
Uh,
honestly. I really, really
give you
would.
one back, yeah. We'll have to make
Courtney,
that happen. Look.
we're going to. I mean, you've already given us a tour of your home, so we're going to make it happen.
Right? Like, come over here with me.
Oh my lord. Oh my lord. Before I ask you my final couple of questions,
Ooh,
what lasting impact has your HBCU or has Alabama A&M University had on you till today? I'm going to rob you of one answer. I'm going to rob
okay.
you of one answer. And that answer cannot be these two beautiful best friends that you have, because I know that
Okay.
is a
Okay.
lasting
Okay.
impact as well.
Yeah.
Give me another lasting impact that Alabama A&M has had on you till today.
Oh my gosh, I just had this wave of emotion. I
Mm.
don't know that I had the pride,
Ooh. If you cry, I'm gonna start crying.
the pride of self. Like I don't know that I was a proud black girl or a proud black woman before I came to Alabama A&M, and I definitely left there as one. Um, yeah, they
That's
gave me that,
impactful.
and I'm thankful, forever
That
grateful
is
for that.
impactful.
Yeah,
Wow.
I wasn't
Wow.
expecting
Okay.
that to go that way, Doctor Joe. But yes,
Thank you. Thank you. You are I know for a fact that every single black woman, black girl at an HBCU, black girl anywhere, because I don't think you have to be an
mhm,
HBCU in this moment to
mhm,
listen to what you just said and feel it. And the fact that HBCUs, especially across the country, give that, because we hear that, right? They give you the sense of self, the sense of pride, not just as a woman, but as a Black woman and as a Black person. That's a gift. And I appreciate you for allowing the emotion to take you there. I really do.
such a gift. I mean, an immeasurable gift. I can't help but get, um, I guess, emotional about it. I never thought about it like that, though.
Mm, mm.
Um, I just never thought about it, but it definitely gave me a pride that I can walk around this world and be my whole self and
I'm giving you a
giving it
virtual
back.
hug.
Yeah.
I'm giving you
Thank
a
you.
virtual hug. I'm going to give you a hug in person one of these days. I look forward to it. I really do.
Yeah.
Don't be one of those actresses that when you actually see me in real life, you're like, I don't know you.
Dr. Toast, yeah, we gonna. I don't want to be like that. I can't keep getting my blessings acting like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's over with. Plus, we both went to an agency. You know, we gonna be like,
There we go.
girl, if we doing it in person, it's gonna be a moment of
Listen,
excitement.
I even before I said it, I knew that's not going to be you. I just wanted you to laugh. I wanted
I
you to
know.
laugh a little
Thank
bit.
you.
That's it. That's
Yes.
all I wanted
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. Bring me back. Yes.
Courtney, yes.
Absolutely.
Is there something exciting that you're working on that you want the audience to know about before we say goodbye?
I want to celebrate a win. I just, we're on strikes. I can't talk about too much, but people can go look. They know what I work on. But
Absolutely.
I just wrote my first episode of television, and it aired last Wednesday.
Okay.
And that was just big for me because now I resigned from teaching, pulled my retirement, moved to Los Angeles to live a dream.
And it's paying off. It's paying off.
And I'm thankful,
Yes.
that the sacrifices that I made, that the effort that I made, the belief that I had in myself, is paying off. Like some people, to have two successful careers is a blessing in one lifetime. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So, and
Absolutely.
so then with this career, I'm like, yes, I want to be an actress, but I taught English language arts. And it's funny because I've had people ask me, they're like, "Is this your first time writing?" And I'm like, "Yeah, for television." But you think about it, right? I'm like, in middle school, and the English language arts teacher, we're going over expository writing, narrative writing, I teach writing, right? And I have had to write.
Yes.
This is another format, and of course, I
Absolutely.
did what I needed to do to learn more about that format. But it's just another career move because when I look at like one of the questions I heard you ask someone like is like, who's your like famous like person who went to an HBCU? Like Oprah went to Tennessee State. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah.
Felicia Rashad, Taraji P Henson, Chadwick
There we
Boseman,
go.
Howard.
Yes.
Like I'm like so. And to look, so I said that to say Debbie Allen, who directs, writes, dances. So it's like on moments that I'm not on TV, what else can I be doing? I can be writing, I can be directing,
Mm-hmm.
and now I mean books, podcasts, we have all kind of options, but that was a huge win for my career. So I'm thankful for everyone who may have watched it. Thankful for everyone who helped me get to it, that I passed it through. They gave me a yes or some notes with a no, right, to make it better. So I'm just thankful. I'm thankful for that, and I'm excited. So yeah.
I'm excited for you. I'm paying attention to everything you're doing, literally, and you can feel more is coming. Period.
Yes,
So I'm
period.
excited for you. In
Thank
one word or short phrase, why does Courtney Nichole love HBCUs?
you. Oh, it gives us an opportunity to expand our greatness.
Because we're already
Right,
great.
right, absolutely. We are
We're
already
already
just
great.
to expand that greatness, right, and
Yes.
build on our legacy. This
Yes.
gives us a golden opportunity to do that at its highest form. You'll never be on a campus or anywhere with probably that many people that are your age and of like mind at any other point in your life. It's a
I,
golden era.
I hope people hear it on Kyra's episode. And I hope we actually, because gosh, we're in production almost all the time, so I apologize if I don't get this right, and if she actually doesn't say it on the recording. Kyra said that she said what you said, and because she's a current student, she's feeling
Mm,
it even more. When somebody asked her why an HBCU, she didn't say why not. That's what most people would say. She said, I don't think there'll be another time in my life where I will be almost completely surrounded by people who look like me. So yes, there will come a time when I have to contend with everybody else. And I know she was one of the first people that I've recorded who has said, I know this is not real life. I know
mm-hmm,
HBCUs and this cocoon that they
mm-hmm,
create for us is not real life, but I'm okay with that because I have the
mm-hmm.
rest of my life to be and have
Yes,
to with all this other. So let this build me up
yes,
so that I can face all of that. It's the best response I have heard so far.
yes,
And that's what you've just said.
yes,
But she's in it right now, and
yes.
that's what she feels.
Well, that's
Courtney,
great. Post and that, you know what I'm saying. Me being
and
post
that's
and her being there. Absolutely,
which
that's
tells
great.
you it's something that stays with you no matter
A
what. So
through
I'm
line.
there we
Correct.
go. There we go. It's what I only wanted to make the connection for that reason. This is
Yeah.
an alum that is making the statement,
Mhm.
that is a student that is feeling it. Guys, there's a consistency there that
Yeah.
yes, yeah, because we hear it all the time. Other people will say, well, you know this is you're not gonna have to. We
Yeah.
get that. We
That's
get
okay.
that.
And that's okay.
It we get
And
that.
that's okay.
There we go.
It's okay.
There we
And
go.
and it's a great age to have it. Like from think about people who go there like what 17 or 18, 20,
Yes,
21. And of course you have
yes,
your non-traditional aged quote unquote students, but
yes.
that is a great phase of life to be in that bubble. Right.
Absolutely. In the bubble. Yes, we know it's a bubble. Let's be in this bubble for a little bit before it gets burst, because
Absolutely.
it's going to be burst.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But honey, when a cocoon bursts, that butterfly emerges.
That
So
butterfly. Yes.
absolutely. I will be in
I'm
my
writing that
cocoon.
down.
Okay.
Yes. Courtney, this has been amazing having this conversation with you. I appreciate you for joining me on the podcast today. I really, really do. I know I am looking forward to just observing every single thing that you do. Your smile literally is a hug. So I am receiving it as a hug. To everybody else watching this, I thank you for tuning into I Love My HBCU question mark and this conversation with Courtney Nichole, alumna of Alabama A&M University. I hope you have enjoyed it, and I hope you've enjoyed listening as well. I also hope that I, Tosin, have earned the pleasure of you subscribing to I Love My HBCU question mark and liking this episode. Yours in HBCU love. See you next episode. Courtney Nichole, thank you so much.
Thank you, Tosin. Thank you for having me. Much continued success to you. And I know your students have a gym, so in you, so that's awesome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
You've been listening to I Love My HBCU question mark. Let's keep the conversation going as we share our stories and encourage more practical support of HBCUs, whilst of course holding each other accountable. Don't forget to follow and subscribe for the latest episodes. Until next time, love and lift your HBCU.